Hello, investors. This is Connor Bates, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Wednesday, April 8th, 4:48 p.m. Eastern Time. Coming to you with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. Market state, we have flipped this back to an uptrend with the positive gap up today in the market across all major indexes. So that is on an uptrend now. And if you take a look at the trend gauge, some changes over here as well. Market leaders with the neutral arrow with the green sub arrow. And just be on the lookout. We confirmed the fall through day today, but it's a red flag if there's a lot of distribution after the fall through day. And like always, we'll be updating that real time in the videos, but just worth mentioning. And then short term, all major indexes above the 21 EMA. S&P closing right around the 50-day moving average, and then long term above the 200-day moving average as well. What happened today? It was a big gap up on the agreement between the U.S. and Iran for a ceasefire just before the deadline last night. And that prompted the gap up, and the market held up very well all day and closed the day very strong as well. Here are the final numbers: 21 over 21 list up 1.97%, 14 green, 1 neutral, 6 red, turbo 12 up 5.27%, 10 green, 2 red, mag 7 up 2.62%. RG8 up 3.45%. 60/40 stock and bond up 2.09%. GROTECTION up 0.93%. TurboTection up 0.41% on the day. Let's get into the inter-asset correlation. And you can see S&P 500 fall through day today, gapped above the 821 and 200-day moving average and closed right at the 50-day moving average. So that's very positive. You can see, we'll go to the intraday chart, gapped up, came and retested, these lows twice today and then closed near the highs. Pretty tight range during regular session hours, right? 69.93 to 67.40 and change. And so, clear back above 65.50, back above the moving averages. So we'll see where we go from here, but definitely a step in the right direction for the bulls. RSP as well, gapping right into the 50-day moving average. Q's strong day today, up almost 3%, closing firmly above the 50-day moving average for now. And again, see how the market continues, but these power gaps, can be really good signs that the market is ready to change trend. And today's only one day, but it's looking positive. Mag 7 relative weakness today, still green on the day, but gap and close near the lower end of the range, below the 50 and 200 day as well. And so relative weakness there. Dow Jones Industrial Average putting in a day as well, closing right at the 50-day moving average. Mid caps strong action on the intraday pullback, held the 50-day and very strong close. Russell 2000 as well. And we talked about in my video last week, was this just a breakout retest here? And this is now confirming to the upside. ARC relatively weak as well, rejecting the 50-day moving average and below the 200-day. VIX, this is great to see. This is wrong, but VIX was down, 18% today. Still closed above 20, but this is exactly what we've been looking for, is to get this down into that 20, sub 25 area at least. And then the next step is sub 20. The dollar negative down on the day. Well, not down, gap down and then close somewhat semi-positive. Trying to potentially put in a hammer, but rejected this 100 spot. Gold still trying to build. GDX as well, closed mid-range, rejecting the 50 and that 100 level. Silver as well. Bitcoin rather weak again today, not a huge move. And then bonds, and then rates, putting a hammer here. Watch how these progress. All right, let's take a look, tell the tape. One thing to note, NASI is hooking up really nice. The RSI is hooking up through 30, which is oversold. MACD is crossing up. And the indicator itself is getting back above the 10 EMA. So you have full bullish alignment for that indicator, and typically tends to be a great tell for, growth stock trading and breadth of the market. When this is behind our back, that's a really good sign. Percent of stocks of the 5-day, pretty overbought now. So that's something to be mindful of. Maybe if the market back and fills a little bit, could provide more opportunities. But again, on a strong thrust upside day, these typically always are overbought. So just worth mentioning. And like we said, VIX getting crushed today. Let's see if this can get back below 20. And we get the sentiment readings tomorrow as well. Fear and greed ticked up a little bit from extreme fear just to fear at 30 now. And like I mentioned today, the big catalyst for today was a ceasefire. Um, Up three, 6 days above the 8 EMA, 1 day back above the 21 EMA. Sectors wise, airlines were strong. Delta had a good earnings report. Oil getting whacked is good for airlines, semiconductors, new all-time high. Home builders, uranium, rare earth, Bitcoin, weakness, energy. Crude oil was down huge. Software got crushed again. Claude launched another agent thing and just killed software. Again, Microsoft, Oracle, Palantir got crushed today. GROTECTION bought DOCN and LNG and then sold the trimmed hedges via SPXS. 0.52 RVAB, 1.99% estimated balance at risk. TurboTaction bought BWXT, sold SPY M, and then trimmed NVD 0.35 RVAB. 1.81% estimated balance at risk. Bottom line, 2 week ceasefire sparks big rally. S&P 500 confirms a follow through day. Let's take a look at the charts and we'll start with trades. GROTECTION bought DOCN and then also LNG. All these names gap lower with oil gapping lower, but look at this hammer off the 21, pretty low risk spot. See if it can continue. Then Turbo, we bought BWXT breaking out of this base on really nice volume today. Bought SOLS coming out through this tight pivot. RS line new high before price. It's a very, very positive signal. And then trim some of the NVIDIA hedge. As you can see, rejected the 50-day, but just back above the 200-day, see how this progresses. But this is still looking rather weak, right? Barely above the 200-day and close below the 50-day. Is this just potential bear flag? On the other hand, you look at SOXX making new all-time highs and other semiconductors like TSM crushing it up almost 6%. Broadcom's coming back around quite nicely. And then, Intel's the name to own for semiconductors. RS line new highs, breaking out of this base. Teradyne, which we own in Turbo, nice, beautiful day as well. Marvel's been acting great. Another new high here today. And so yeah, so those have been the strong semiconductors as of late. Let's take a look at the 21 over 21 list. Sienna new highs, optics names extremely strong. VRT gapping out through these base highs. Keys, nice EP earnings continuation, gapping through that high volume close from the earnings day back here. XPO, nice action after it's getting tight at here, confirming higher. Marvell, new 52-week high. Dell, another one, continuing higher out of this nice looking base. Planet Labs space stocks weren't weak today. They just weren't up as much as some of the other things, but this one's forming a nice little base up here. PWR, nice action. Fastly, good action, continues to hold trend. Kava, closing near the lows today. EWZ, Brazil, nice action. If the dollar continues to be weak, these should act well. GEV, confirming higher. Akamai getting tight here, right off the 21 EMA. XBI reversing from these highs, but still acting great. Netflix, nice bounce off the 8 EMA today. See if this can take out 100. Alcoa, nice hold of the 8 EMA as well after breaking out of this base. Twilio outside reversal today with software weakness. Net, same thing there. LNG, we covered that. PSX, again with weakness in oil, these all gap down. And then LYB, another chemical name, gapping down. And CF's another one. Look at this huge range, but huge hammer and closing back with the 21 EMA after bouncing off the 50-day moving average as well. Let's take a look at the Turbo 12. AAOI leading the way, looking to break out from this, extreme strength, powerful flag formation. Ones. GLD, we own this in TurboTaction, acting extremely well, up 11% on nice volume, breaking out. Had a really nice launch pad in this base, took out 150 and closing above this 162. See if this can continue. Modine, rallying back up to the top end of the range. Qnity, really nice move here out of this tight consolidation. BWXT, which I mentioned we bought as well, breaking higher out of this beautiful looking base. SOLS as well. Fly continuing higher in the space theme out of a big, you can see this base right here. Maybe this starts to flag out. Who knows? TSEM continuing higher, super strong. FRO, undercut reclaim of the 8 and 21. Got a downtrend line break. DOCN, CF covered that, and then VG with oil. So what? And so we look. So big drivers. USO down 10%, helping equities. This has been difficult for the market to rally with oil so strong, but did close decent today. It was gapping down and then kind of inched back up into the close. Let's see. And then some other relative strength that I wanted to cover. AEHR on earnings gap up 25% on almost 500% above average volumes. Extreme strength in this one. This one's got a huge multi-year base that it's coming out of. So definitely, and in the semiconductor equipment space that has been extremely strong. We covered semiconductors, new all-time highs. The Mag 7 were rather weak today. Just continue to see distribution. Amazon rejecting the 200-day moving average. You had Meta had some positive news, but right into this 50-day moving average. And then Tesla continues to be extremely weak. Red down almost 1% on the day that the Nasdaq was up almost 3% and rejecting this 8 EMA. And then Microsoft, again, software continues to be weak. Oracle, which GROTECTION owns short via ORCS, looking like this might potentially break lower out of this bear flag. And then Palantir as well, down 6% on heavy volume. Not the prettiest look. This one looks like stage 4 that it is in. And then some other stocks to watch. NBIS. This has got a really, really nice looking base. This is one to watch if the AI data center theme starts to pick back up again. WGMI, the ETF, looks worse though, but trying to get back above the 50-day moving average. Let's see. Lattice Semiconductor, another semiconductor, relative strength line, new highs, breaking out. BE worth a watch, rejected the 50-day, but starting to come up on the right side of this base. And I wanted to mention DRAM. This is a memory ETF that has has SanDisk, Micron, all those names, and also has the foreign names like SK Hynix. And if you look at memory names, Micron getting back above the 50-day moving average, SanDisk, new highs today, extremely strong. And then Seagate, new highs, Western Digital, new highs as well. So that theme is staying alive. And then fiber optics theme, light, new highs today. Covered AAOI, Sienna, Coherent, looking decent as well, breaking this downtrend line. So very encouraging action in the leaders, very encouraging action in the indexes with the gap of the 50-day moving average. And I would say the bottom line is we want to see indexes stay above the moving averages. Some backfill is normal. But if distribution starts to come back into the market, that would be negative. And again, news flow is still high. So that is something you have to pay attention to. And then, monitoring the leaders really stood out today, like GLW, Teradyne, and many other names. And that's always a good sign as well. VIX getting back below 20 should, and volatility dies down. And really, that is what we are watching. We'll continue to update you guys every day. So that is going to wrap it. As always, like to hear from you. My email is connor@revereasset.com. You can always reach out to me on Twitter at ConnorJBates_. Phone is 855 Real Wealth, 855-732-5932. If you're ever interested in becoming a client, as always, please reach out. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great night.